Alrighty, so this is the extra practice worksheet to help you determine what the situation is. So we're going to quickly go through it. I already have some of the answers here. They're the ones that are highlighted in green, just so you're aware. But let's read the situation. 75 college students and 75 high school students were asked what percent of their free time is spent watching television. Determine a confidence interval for how much more high school students spend watching television than college students. So the big giveaway is 75 and 75. This is two different samples. Okay? So it's a two sample Z test for mean 1 minus mean 2. Number 2, how much longer do incandescent light bulbs last compared to fluorescent light bulbs? 55 incandescent light bulbs and 45 uh, fluorescent bulbs were observed. The nice thing about this is if the sample sizes don't match, it's going to be a two sample, right? If they don't match, it's not possible. No paired data because they have to be equal in order for them to pair up. So that's a really nice way to determine it. If the sample sizes are different, you know it's not going to be paired data. Number 3, you can't see the answer, but that's okay. How much more money does the typical restaurant customer spend on the main course versus other items? 45 customers were observed. So here we go. 45 customers were observed. That is one sample. And obviously, they're just going to do the main minus other as the paired data. So that's why it's a one sample. Number 4, how much does proper lighting improve museums? Visitors were asked to rate museums on a scale of 1 to 10 before new lighting was installed and after new lighting. So that before and after is a really good thing to see. And they also asked, how much does proper lighting improve museums? Visitors were asked to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10. Both. So they specifically were asked before and after. So that is going to be one sample. Okay, and like I said, that big thing is that before and after. Specifically because they did it twice. They did both of them. Now if they said like, oh, we asked a group before and rated it, and then we asked another group after how they felt about it, then that would be a two sample. But since those same people were before and after, it becomes a one sample. You own a restaurant and want to find out how much lettuce is consumed on an average day. You look at total orders for 20 males and 25 females. So here we go back to that different sizes, right? 25, 25, and 45, and 20. So because of that, I'm going up. Oh, I tripped myself up. There we go. Even better, people. Don't be like Mr. Roll on the test here. This is actually a one sample situation, and I'll tell you why. Uh, they were not asking the difference between how much males and females consumed on that day. They just wanted to find how much lettuce is consumed on that day, and they just broke it up into males and females to trick you and to really trick me, because realistically, this is just a set of 45 people. All right, that's their one sample. They have 45 people. Um, so if they that split here was just like you could see this like in a two-way table also, right? Like male, female, lettuce, no lettuce, right? Either way, it doesn't really matter. All we care about is that lettuce or no lettuce, what's down here and here. And so this was actually designed to trip you up, and it tripped me up a little bit as well too. So be careful with that. How much longer will swimmers stay in a heated pool compared to an unheated pool? So here we go. Now we're getting back into that heated pool compared to unheated or heated versus unheated. Now we're going to look at a difference between the two. And they are two samples, 67 swimmers, different sample sizes, and 55. Now we get two sample T interval. So different numbers, and they're also comparing the two. How much better do old siblings do than younger siblings in school? GPA records of 82 children families were looked at. So this is going to be it's going to be a one sample mu diff. Since they have 82 child families, they're obviously one's going to be an adult, or so sorry, not adult, but older and younger. And then they compare these two people up. And the other thing to kind of really help here is the records of 80 families. That's hinting to one sample of 80 families, which is helping to recognize that it's mu diff and not a two sample. Because it wasn't a sample of here and another sample of here, it was just one sample of 80 people. How much more money do students have to spend on private universities compared with public universities? Cost of 40 private universities and 40 public universities were researched. There is no similarity between these two. There is a public and there is a private separation between the two. So this is just going to be a two sample. It's two separate samples. Here's one sample, and then here's the second sample. So two different samples. Right. Getting to the end of it. So how much better has the Nasdaq done than the Dow Jones Industrial Year? The dot plot, the daily points gained and losses have been charted since January 2nd. So what they're going to do is they're going to take their date, right? Like if they made a little table, right? And then this would be the Nasdaq, and this would be the Dow, right? And you'd collect them, and then they're going to find the difference here between the individual days. They don't care. They're not saying historically how's the Nasdaq done to the Dow Jones. Sorry, but each specific day is going to be their sample. So they're going to take this one and get their difference. This one and this one and get their difference. This one and this one and get their difference. And then they take the means of all these, and that is what your one sample T interval is for. All right. Okay, this is the last one. Yep. So you are interested in estimating the average number of people individuals interact with each day. You survey 300 Americans. So you're just sampling one sample of 300 people. Which is why it's going to be one sample interval. There's nothing really paired going on here or any difference between the two. It's just one large sample between the two. So there you go. If you'd like some more practice, this link is actually really helpful. Hold up. Ooh, hopefully that didn't. So you can come here and then click just the confidence intervals for a population mean. This is actually where some of these come from. So we don't care about proportions right now. Means, and then paired data. Here we go. And then you could submit, and it'll start to give you more examples. Now we did some of these. This is where I got a lot of them, but there's some other ones. And you can go help you determine which one. So then you ultimately can know which test you should do better. All right. But that is that. All righty. Thanks for watching.